Welcome to Business Unveiled Podcast. This is the place where we help overwhelmed, time-starved entrepreneurs like you make the profitable shifts to get more done and get more out of life. I'm your host, Angela Proffitt, award-winning 8-figure entrepreneur and CEO. And in every episode of Business Unveiled, I'm bringing you conversations that will give you the expertise and strategies that will scale your team and business so you can get shit done. That's GSD in our world. So get your time back and grow a business that helps you be present in your life. Let's do this, y'all. GSD leader, I wanted to take a quick break from the show to share something super important. Did you know that employee wellness is killing businesses? According to research, 50% of employees miss 1 to 5 hours of work every week due to stress. So I'm excited to announce that we just launched a new workshop called Walk and Work. And no, we're not going to be walking and working the entire time. That would be kind of crazy. Walk and Work is an easy solution that offers an in-person workshop and program that boosts employee health, wellness, and engagement. This interactive workshop takes employees through our 7-step process to establishing healthy habits while working from home or from the office so they can be productive while also taking care of themselves. Employee wellness at work is proven to have major benefits. Numerous studies show that healthier, happier team members are more productive in life and business. Do something today that your future self will thank you for. Your actions and decisions today will shape the way you will be living in the future. If you'd like to learn more about this workshop, visit walkandwork.co and schedule a time to chat with one of our GSD experts. That's walkandwork.co. Now let's get back to the show. Today is market day. I'll never forget the first time we came to market in July, looking at all these Christmas trees. And we're just walking along like we're gonna pick out whatever Christmas tree we want. And they're like, oh honey, you have to order that in January. What? Order ahead. Before you go into each shop, take a photo of the shop so you remember where you're at. Escalators, if you don't, this takes forever. It's tall. Apparently, I look like someone who would be taking photos and videos and selling it to a Chinese company. I've had multiple people come up to me in showrooms and ask me that, and ask me very specific questions about what I'm doing. And so it is a real problem. Clearly, the guy just came up, like, you should really ask before you can take photo and video. I thought he was kidding. I'm sorry, I didn't see a sign. And I'm actually not taking photo video. I'm actually Marco Poloing this video texting my clients ideas. And I'll be back tomorrow to place the order. And he's like, we're just really sensitive to it. And then he's like, can you tell me about your business and what you're here shopping for? Today, we're shopping for a new venue. Took 2 pictures, the name of the company, and of a hanging snowflake that they don't even sell. But that's one thing to ask is this a display or is this actually for sale? Some feedback as a planner who has to over-communicate with all types of people and all types of personalities. You guys did have a stanchion with a sign out here. I really think there could be a training program that gives people a script or wording on how to let people know. Again, if you don't communicate what your expectations are, you don't know. This is one of my very favorite vendors. Look at how cute this is. So this is where the story gets really good. There's 7 floors, and each floor is literally like a humongous super Target or super Walmart. I'm not exaggerating. So I come around the corner and he's standing there on his phone. He's straight following me. Yet it gets better. Then I go to another floor. Every floor is like a huge circle, and then there's a cut through in the middle where the bathrooms are. He comes out of that cut through. He changed clothes. What I'm thinking is that he's been hired by a security company. This is how you think when you're raised by an undercover cop. But I've seen him 4 times now on different floors. Idea of how many floors? It is a long way down. Live last night, an Instagram live, I don't know, it was like 30 minutes long, telling this crazy story that happened to me at market yesterday in Atlanta. I wanted to post it to the grid. I hadn't done that in a long time, and I kind of forgot. If you don't post it within 15 minutes, you lose it. Here I go, spending like 2.5 hours writing out this
beautiful story. I was like so proud of myself because I'm not a copywriter, and like put emojis and like just put a lot of heart and effort into it, and like tagged people and was like very strategic, but I was like so laser focused. Then I go to post it after working on it for like 2.5 hours, watching it and editing it, and oh my god. And then I post it, and then it like doesn't make it to the grid, and I keep looking and refreshing. I'm like, it's probably my internet. Oh my gosh, I'm like, you know what? You just need to go to bed, Angela, and then when you wake up in the morning, maybe it will magically appear to be on the grid. Well, of course, before I went to sleep, I Googled, how long does it take for your Instagram live to process to post on the grid? If you don't do it within 15 minutes of the live, you've lost it. I freaking love market, and I love shopping for other people, and I love, it's like a game, it's like a hunt, and I have my process down. I feel like this needs to be like a TikTok sound. There's that TikTok sound that's like, I'm running off of 2 cups of coffee and da-da-da-da-da, and it's like, I can't use that sound, I don't drink coffee. I get inspiration. I had the best flipping day today. Anyway, that's different podcast. I lost my train of thought. I've been in 3 different time zones the last 72 hours. I'm not complaining. You know, I do it to myself. Unplanned things happen, right? Like this past week at the airport, and all the stuff that's happened with flights and things being grounded, and I was in the middle of all that. I woke up the morning that I was supposed to leave India, and my flight was just canceled, and it happened twice. For people who aren't like loyal to a brand and you're not a member of like a program for an airline, you should be 100% and screw all the sale fare bullshit to save $30. Like brand loyalty is everything, and status is everything. They rebooked my flight, they answered my phone call within 4 minutes, they gave me a $400 voucher. I get upgraded to first class all the time. Their customer service is incredible. I'm forever a United fangirl, and that's why I just have gratitude towards it. And so like little things here and there, you can't get upset about it. But what really sucks, I lost 2 full shopping days at market. Usually it's like 3 buildings. They're 20 to 25 floors. 20, I'm not exaggerating either. Every building's not like something different. For example, building 1 is Christmas stuff. And by the way, you have to order that shit in January if you want it by November 1st. We learned that the hard way. It was really funny. We went the very first time, this was years ago in July, and we're like picking out all these Christmas decorations, and I had no clue how it worked, right? Like I didn't know the questions to ask. So that's what I'm going to go over here too. Sometimes I'm like, how do we make it in life sometimes? But God puts the right people in our life to like make sure that we know what we're doing or we don't get screwed, right? Build relationships with the right people just because of a gut feeling, like because it feels good. It's all about how you feel and the vibe. Oh my gosh, like I met 3 awesome, good business owners and entrepreneurs. Like my most favorite was Ryan. He's mapping out cities and countries, and like I'm designing a whole wall and a whole backdrop of all the countries that we were in last year, and using that as inspiration to be a backdrop to some of the workshops that we're doing. If you want us to come to your city or your country or your state or your continent, you want to be on the board next year, reach out to us, like Let's GSD. There's a whole circle, a whole marketing program behind it to like bring people together and bring those gaps together. Oh my God. I keep going on a tangent. Oh, my next favorite was this pot store. So there's all these little pots, and like I teach like for processes, I like to use the bucket analogy because I love the beach and I think of like a sand bucket. The buckets were plastic, they look a little cheap, and I mean, we're not a cheap brand, we're a luxury brand. Trend alert, pots are everywhere. I mean, all kinds of really cool pots. Big pots, little pots, mini pots, square pots, round pots, oval pots, diamond pots, like such cool shit. Texture, non-tech colors. I went into the store. This lady saw me like I'm psycho-ly over here, like matching colors, like looking to see if they have the colors in our psychology methodology of the pots. Y'all, oh my God, like not the cutest things ever. They have these little saucers and they have the perfect 4 colors. I could just cry like the happiest tears ever right now. Like if I could fly, it was like a fly moment. Oh my God, like they're perfect. So like on day 1, we will go through the communication workshop, which is all about how people perceive you and then understanding how to customize the message the way they need to hear it. Oh, there's a cop. Okay. Shit, what was I saying? So then and then step 2 is the processes, which used to be the time buckets, We're going to go over the time buckets, but now we're going to do time pots. And so it's like you're planting your pot with like clean, good soil. If you're going to grow your soil or grow, you've got to be good to your soil. I'm putting like this whole story together around anyway. I'm so freaking excited. We're getting these pots for the second like exercise here. And then also the other takeaway thing too is we are printing some paper and some notepads and some little planners, because I know that like if you listen to some of my stuff prior to COVID, I'm like, no paper, no paper, no paper, you're crazy if you use paper. Like, let me clarify. I use paper all the time when I'm doing strategy. I mean, I have ADHD so bad I can't sit still. I can't even drive somewhere and sit still. Like, I gotta talk to you. I gotta get the energy out. Oh my God, and I got a McDonald's Coke, which I never do. I don't think I have a Coke in like 8 months because I'm just tired. I'm like, this will help keep me awake if I do a podcast. Tastes like motor oil. Anyway, we're gonna do pots, tying the story back to the psychology. And then when we mix people up in groups, the colors in the pots, the order will all be based on their numbers that they will be identifying in part 1 of the people phase in GSD. Like, so excited. So then step 3 is productivity. It's all about like the wellness. Like, we've got these cool pedometers and like these cool lunch bags. There were so many good things at market. Good swag, like cool shit, like useful shit. And then the Proffitt piece, which is content creation, creating content, sharing your story, using a ring light, having a power bank. I have to charge my phone multiple times a day. My iCloud's full again. I'm already paying like $10 a month. You can't get any more space. Then my phone quits syncing to the cloud, and then my content doesn't sync, and it just puts me behind. Anyway, following that framework, I was sharing it with like some of these different vendors that I met today. I put like a full-blown ass marketing plan together in like 2 hours and drew it all out. I didn't pull out my microphones to do a legit podcast. I didn't know like how good and deep it was going to get, but it got so good. And I'm like, no, I need to take my mics out, but it would just kill the vibe. It's not about that. It's not about being perfect. It's about the moment, and we were so in the moment, and it was so good. There were so many good connections. Oh, and then the whole reason I'm at market is I'm shopping. I'm shopping for clients. I have my little process. These are just some tips with market. So the first thing is wear tennis shoes, dress comfortable. This isn't a time to be cute. People like bring those wheel bag things. I use those all the time, but not at market. Like, I want to walk fast. I want to move. All I really wanted, I took my backpack yesterday, which was not a good idea. And then today I just took my little Prada pouch, which was much better. It's like just the necessity things, because you can do everything you need on your phone. I would take some business cards, but I would do like an electronical business card, and people can scan a QR code and then it can go to, electronical business card. There's one that I use when I do conferences that I absolutely love. I think it's like $150 a year, but it also gives me the analytics, and it tells me like what people are clicking on and what people are interested in. If you're trying to make marketing decisions, you're not blindly trying to figure out, and then you can also reorder your buttons based on what people are clicking on. Because what you think is the most important may not be the most important to your consumer, and you're completely missing the mark. And if you're not looking at your Google Analytics at least monthly to know what is happening on your site, you might want to start doing that. You can just make better decisions. There's so many rabbit hole tangents in this, but there are some takeaways, I promise, I promise, I promise. Back to my favorite people that I met today. Okay, Dennis the Menace. So I actually have to sit down and start organizing all this stuff for one of the clients that I was there for. I Marco Polo'd him and a consultant that oversees things with them. And this is my process. I go shop, I figure out what I like. We had a vision meeting beforehand, and we've done stuff for this client for years, so they kind of know how it works. I give them ideas, I take pictures of everything, and then they all go into Dropbox, or if everybody has Apple, we share an iPhoto folder. There's multiple ways that you can color code it, star it, put it in another folder, a favorites folder, or just simply tell us the number of the image and what you like about it. And then I went back and matched the numbers to the vendors. So what I do is first off, I start at the top floor. No, let me back up. I usually go to the vendors that I know that we're going to buy from first. And I know what floors they're on. If you've never been before, you definitely want to do all your homework, go through the vendors, and do a Google sheet of what building they're in. You've got your building, your floor, your corridor, You've got your different escalators and different elevators. It's the most fucking confusing thing ever. If you don't know what the hell you're doing, even with all the good signage, it's so overwhelming. Luckily, it's not my first rodeo. So, I mean, I kind of know what I'm doing, and I still get lost. I knew I was going to do building 1 on the first day. I start on the 2 most important floors. Then I start at the very top, and I work my way to the bottom. Well, I did that yesterday, and I had to stop at floor 8 because they closed. And even though they closed at 6, I stayed till 8, and I walked as many floors as I could just to get an idea of what I wanted to go to today. I worked the outside, and then I worked the inside, because every floor is a huge square that is literally the size of a super Walmart or a super Target on every single floor, and there's 20 floors. It's insane. But in building 1, it's like decor for special occasions, things like that. You got to know where your stuff is. Building 2 is like gifting, retail stores, swag, china, home furnishing things, rugs, tons and tons and tons and tons of furniture. Got some amazing designers and amazing artists and just some of the coolest shit. Then you've got the temporary booths, which a lot of those are like Shark Tank winners or people that got exposure on Shark Tank and their sales shot up, or people launching new products, which I freaking love because like I love working with startups and like setting their companies off on the right foot from the very bottom level going in. Because a lot of young entrepreneurs, and I don't mean age, but people who don't know what they don't know when they get into entrepreneurship. I mean, there's people that retire when they're 50 and then they get into entrepreneurship and like they're a young entrepreneur. They haven't had to do all of these things, and it's like a huge learning curve. Oh my God, what was I saying? Tips, back to tips for market. Okay, the directions are very important. Paying attention to your map. The app that they have is pretty freaking awesome. It'll give you directions, and you can like search by vendor. A lot of times our clients, they don't know exactly what they're looking for and they can't put their finger on it, so it's kind of like in 1 mile, like a scavenger hunt game. But again, I love it. One of my clients, he's like, so all of those things are beautiful and it looks like it would go in a luxury boutique hotel, which completely fits me. But that's not what this is. And so it was just funny. He's like, no owls. I was like, oh, that's right, it's only bears. I'm like, thank you so much for reminding me. I just get so carried away. I'm like, let's just have a forest of like ornaments. And I see these things and I just love them, and it gives me, oh my God, I need to get off. Shit. I just missed my exit. Oh well, I can go this way too. I'd rather finish this podcast. Oh wait, Murfreesboro. Hold on, I can still go this way. Well, other tips. I sit down to organize my thoughts for this one client because I only had an hour left. I feel like I'm on like that TV show, I don't even know what this game is, where you like shop for groceries or something, and they hit go and you go through and like grab as many groceries as you can and run the bill up as much as you can. Then whoever, like at checkout, and then they bag them and take them home. Anyway, I feel like it's that kind of thing. It's just like a race. And some vendors have really hard stops with deadlines with free shipping, and which is a major thing. But you have to know the things to ask. Like, what's the minimum order? A lot of them, when you open an account, you have to have $500 minimum. You have to be a business owner to get in. You have to register. You have to pay the membership fee. There's a lot of paperwork essentially that you have to do. Not anybody can just walk in there, which is going to play into my story in a moment of me being accused for working for a Chinese company, capturing photo and video to sell them images of these products so that they can reproduce them and sell them on Amazon for a third of the price. I never even thought of that. I never even thought of small business owners and artists and designers having to deal with that shit. I didn't, and I have empathy for them. But the way that they went about it, I'm just still kind of like in shock. I'm like, is this a joke? Like, is my brother playing a joke on me? Like, are there cameras on me and someone's going to pop out and be like, you're being punked? I'm still just like, is this real life? I'm so tired, I'm lethargic. I'm like, is this real? Yeah, it was real. Right when I got to market, I noticed so many inefficiencies. So I'm like taking notes because I'll tell them, like I'll email them or DM them eventually. I probably will make them a video. There were things that they really did great since COVID, and then there's some things where they did a great job training their temporary staff. again, there's just some real inefficiencies the way that they talk to people. Thank God I'm like Miss Psychologist analyzing everything over here. But basically, 4 different showrooms. Again, these showrooms are humongous. There's people everywhere. Oh my God, I gotta turn my GPS off. China and the personalities and people thinking that I was there to like be a spy for like a Chinese company or something. I guess they could look at my social media and see me dancing all over the world, but the good thing is I haven't been dancing in China. We don't really work in China. I think I've been there once to Macau, 5 or 6 years ago maybe. First guy came up to me. I didn't even have my gimbal out. It was just me and my phone and my little backpack. I was in a company t-shirt with a company water bottle. I had my badge, which was a little confusing. It didn't have GSD Creative Angela Proffitt. It had Angela Young Proffitt, and then it had Angela Proffitt. Confusing, right? So I don't know what happened there. I never used my middle name for anything. Chinese working for them, what the hell? So this first guy comes up to me in a showroom. Now all 4 of them are men, 50-year-old plus, nice suits. The first showroom, the guy comes up to me and he was like, he kind of like whispers in my ear and he's like, hey, you're not working for China, are you? Did they send you here to take photo and video of our products so you could send it back to them? And they sell them on Amazon for the 1/3 of the price? I'm like, I literally like look around and I'm like, is he talking to me? And I just started, so I burst out laughing. I said, what? I literally burst out laughing. And he's like, yeah, I mean, you've been in here taking a lot of photos and videos. I've been watching you, like, you know what you're doing. And I'm like, I don't even have my gimbal out. I don't even have my Facebook glasses. I don't have any gadgets. I don't have a tripod, like nothing. Like, what makes people think that? I'm like, well, do you not allow photo video? And he was like, we do. We're just really sensitive to it because there's people that come in here who are not legit businesses and we don't know how they get in, but they're being paid by Chinese companies. And I'm like, you're serious? And he was like, yes, I'm serious. And he's like, so I just think that you should be aware of that. And he's like, the last market, there was a professional photographer with his camera taking pictures, and he said a lot of professionals come in here, designers with their photo and their video people, but most of the designers have a rep and they have a relationship, and so somebody within the showroom knows who you are and how much money and revenue your company brings in, and that you're not affiliated with anything bad. I was like, wow. I didn't know any of this. I was like, that sucks that small businesses have to freaking worry about that. Like, I had no idea. I'm like, but by the way too, I'm not videoing. Like, I'm not getting video and photo for any other purpose than sharing it with my clients, and I'm Marco Poloing with my clients. I'm not even videoing. And he's like, what's that? I'm like, oh, the #1 communication app in my head. It's amazing and it's efficient. And I showed him, I'm like, look, these are some of my clients, like we're Marco Poloing. I mean, I didn't play them. I'm like, but this is my process. I show them everything and I upload the pictures. Some of my clients, I've never met them in person, ever. We know each other through Marco Polo and Zoom. Like, it's just, we have a great relationship because we're good communicators and we have a common goal. He said this guy who acted like he couldn't speak English actually was from China. And so they took his camera, security, and then they opened him up to pull his SD cards out. And when they did that, he started speaking English real well when he was like, you don't have the authority to open my camera like that without a warrant and take my SD cards out. The guard was like, oh, so now you can suddenly speak English. Okay. And he shouldn't have been there. It's just crazy to me. That was the first guy. He's like, I just don't want you to get thrown out. And I'm like, oh my God, thank you so much for the heads up. And he was just orange. Like, he was more playful the way he delivered the message. And in my head, I'm thinking, well, if you had a sign, not that I would have been paying attention or I would have seen it, but if you had a sign then that said like no photo video or the photo video is limited or something like that. But they definitely trained them and they definitely gave them a script because all 4 men followed the script. They did. But that's not what this is about. It's the way they delivered the message to me based on their personality, not my personality. So then the second store I was in, a guy came up to me and Definitely more gold green, because the way he delivered the message, he said, "Excuse me, ma'am, you've been in here taking some photos and videos for a while. What is your business?" "I'm here for a client to I'm doing some design for their restaurant." He's like, "Well, we'd really like for you to limit it, because we've been having people come in and they're hired by a Chinese company, and then they sell the photo video, and then they recreate our products." And again, he followed the script, but it was just his demeanor. The other guy said it with a smile, and he was like, "Ha, like, hey," I'm like, "giving you a get out of jail card because you don't know what you don't know." And then this other guy's like, "These are the rules and you need to follow them." And he kind of made me feel like I need to apologize. "I'm so sorry, but I'm actually not videoing, I'm Marco Poloing my clients." And nobody knows what Marco Polo is. Next workshop I would love to teach is how to use Marco Polo for communication to streamline miscommunication, because text and emails create so much miscommunication. And with Marco Polo, you can see my face, you know exactly what I mean, you know exactly what I'm thinking. There is no room for error, okay? Now, sometimes I do leave out part of the story, go off on a tangent, and then my team is confused. So they get as many clarification, like pass cards, as they need. I think this next guy was just kind of green gold. The third guy was the best. Definitely green. Very reserved, very reserved. And he didn't approach me so nicely. He was very calm, but he comes right up to me and he's like, "Ma'am, before you walk into a showroom and start taking pictures and videos, you should ask the policy." I'm like, "Oh, I'm not taking video or taking photos. I'm Marco Poloing a client." And I'm waiting for him to say, "Well, what is Marco Polo?" Yes, he did. So it's video texting, so it's just an efficient way for me to get my design ideas out of my head so I can show my clients, give them inspiration. Then I do take pictures. I put them in a Dropbox. The client goes in, marks the ones they want or gives me the numbers that they like. I go back, I look at my pictures, I see what place it was, I see what building it was in, I see what floor it was on. I see what corridor it was in, what elevator, what escalator I need to take to get up to that store, to be efficient, make the purchase, get the 25% off showroom or show special, get free shipping. I know that the minimum is $500 or $1,000 if you have to get a full pallet. I know that we have to order by March 1st, but to get it by November 1st, because the day before I asked all the questions, right? So you just kind of learn these things the hard way. These are just some of the tips that why people want to pay somebody who knows what they're doing to not only get the unique designs based on personality, but, have the relationship with the vendors. I couldn't take it anymore. I was like, okay, if you would have had a sign posted, I don't know if I would have seen the sign because I don't pay attention to that either, but at least you make an effort to communicate to your potential customer. He comes in at me on all these questions. So he's like, so what do you do? What is your business? Where are you from? What is that? What does that mean? What do you mean? Dude, I'll tell you the life story, but aren't y'all about to close? I'm kind of in a hurry here. As I'm backing away, right? As we're having a conversation, I'm backing away, which is a cue to you that we're done here and I'm now exiting. I'm like, okay, have a good night. I am walking. There's 4 different floors and I'm walking around multiple floors, multiple times, no rhyme or reason. There were very specific vendors that I wanted to see. And the elevators and escalators were just they were all taking forever, so I made a priority list, and usually I would go to everything on the same floor, but it was just a little haywire. And there's people everywhere. I was definitely paying attention because I'm looking for very specific things as I walk as fast as my little short legs can. So I'm making a video of myself talking, and I'm walking, but so I'm looking forward and looking left, looking right at all the different things and getting ideas and inspiration. And I'll see something, stop, take a picture, do a quick video, Marco Polo somebody, and just keep going. I don't need a lot of time. I know exactly what I'm looking for. I know what I want when I see it, or I get inspired, and so I'll stop again, make a video, and keep going. So he's down at the end of the hallway and leaning up against talking on the phone. Which, when you're really on the phone, and then there's times where you're acting like you're on the phone, but You're not really on the phone, you're just trying to make it through the grocery store without someone stopping you and asking you your business. And so you just keep your headphones in as if you're on a phone call. You're not available for conversation to the outside world. That's usually the cue that headphones would give you. And apparently I'm not really good at cues, but I do know that one. Like, especially if I have my big headphones on, like, don't talk to me. I don't want to talk to you. I got shit to do. But anyway, so that's the first time I noticed him. And I'm like, am I being followed? I did take my little microphones with me, but after all that happened, I'm like, oh my God, then they're gonna think I'm an undercover fucking news reporter or something. Like, I don't want to cause any trouble. I'm just trying to effectively and productively shop for my freaking clients. And I do love video, and I love inspiring the outside world. I mean, so many positive things to it, right? I'm on a different floor, and I'm walking down the hallway, like, he comes out right here, this way, with gym clothes. He changed clothes. And maybe this is all a coincidence, and maybe he was off work and he was going to the gym. And I made eye contact with this guy more than 4 times. So again, thinking I'm being punked by my brother. The security video probably is like having a heyday with me. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do a live, and I'm gonna tag a Miramart and tell them like they did an excellent job training their security team. They all followed the script, but what they failed was conveying the message the way I needed to hear it. Clearly, I'm very focused, I'm very passionate. I see something that like inspires me, which makes me so happy. I'm so excited to share it with the client. I'm like in a fairy tale moment. And then you come up and talk to me like, how about this? My name is right here. Hi, Angela, I'm Bubba. I'm Bubba from Lebanon, Tennessee.
This is Bubba. Bubba is from Lebanon, Tennessee, which I grew up in Mount Juliet, and so it was like meant to be. How long are you with Regency?
Well, we used to have a wholesale, so I bought from Regency for 30 years, so I'm known them forever. 618 4th Avenue South. It's the listening room that's in it now.
Oh, Chris, where?
Yes.
Okay,
right
so I love Chris.
So what I can do is, if I send you an email, right there, it'll have links to the website. Now, if you go to the restaurant website, the good thing about the able to get on the website then, okay. Because the website has picture, price, and inventory, where a catalog will just have picture and price. And everything new, item number 7,000 and above.
Are you a current client? What brings you in today? Have you ordered with us before? Do you have any experience with the company? This is how you write a script and you pre-qualify. We are doing a show special. It ends at midnight on Tuesday. We have free shipping with any orders over $2,500. We have a $500 minimum. And a few things have changed since COVID because we've been here for 23 years. And if you're already an existing customer and client, you know that we used to require that you do full full crates. You can now do half crates. So we're making it more affordable, and then we're waiving all the shipping because we have a new freight partner. And so they're educating, but also telling me very quickly, this is what we do. Oh, and here's a QR code to our new catalog. Let's get your username and password and just make sure you can still log in. And we did a brand refresh on the website. So I just want to log you in and make sure we can get you around. It'll take 2 minutes. And then you can go around, and here's a scanner, and you can scan all the things that you like. I don't really have time for that right now. I actually walked around and already took pictures of everything. So can I have your email? And I'm going to share the client's Dropbox with you that has all the images in it. Or better yet, I'll share it with you once I get with the client, and then they tell me what they like, and then I'll put it in a Google Sheet if I put it in your order system and check the inventory and all that, and then we can go from there. The fourth gentleman comes up to me and he says, ma'am, we don't allow photo and video in the store here. Did you take a video? Can you pull that up and show me and delete? And I just bust out laughing. I'm like, I'm not selling some videos to China. Basically kind of finished his script for him, but I could tell he was either, again, very gold green, very regimented, following the process, didn't crack a smile, didn't make eye contact, was very like matter of fact and aggressive. And he wasn't having it. I'm like, that's okay. I understand. I'm sorry that the small business owners are having this, but it would be helpful if there was like a really pretty sign. I mean, you guys have a beautiful storefront, and there could be a big sign that says like no photo video, because we're tired of people stealing our stuff and selling it on Amazon. Like just let us know. But I can't buy from you because if I can't show my client, I'm not going to go on your catalog and look through your 19,000 million page catalog. Like, that's why I'm at market. I'm visual. I want to see it and touch it and feel it. And I have a whole concept that I'm trying to put together for a new venue. So I need to see it in person. I'm not good with measurements. And then I go around and I'll stand by things so you can see like how big the lanterns are. I like use my hand. I use my phone battery, you know, just so you can see how big things are and get an understanding. Let's recap. Take a backpack. Don't make it heavy. Don't put a bunch of shit in it. Or take a roll bag. I like the roll bags better that have 4 wheels. Okay, this is what not to do. Don't take a fucking duffel bag like this, thinking you're gonna like carry it around. Like, don't do that. The next one is get the app. Get the app, look at some of the vendors' products. So like, for example, if you're looking for picture frames, you could search in picture frames and it'll show you all the vendors that carry picture frames and then where the building is. Like, make a Google sheet, make sure you have the Google app and the Sheets app on your phone so you can like pull all this stuff up on your phone. Places where I built the relationships, it was a complete accident. I just stumbled upon it because I liked some of the things in the store, and then the people's energy and vibe matched mine. When I asked about doing like custom things and doing affiliate programs and doing partnerships and white labeling and, you know, are they open to this and open to that? Like, it just flows. It's just easy and you vibe, right? Like, you just know. So the third person was this guy named Dennis. He branded himself. He's like Dennis the Menace. It's kind of like my last name, Proffitt. I have to spell it for every single thing. F is in fun, because we all want to have fun, and T is in time. And if you spend your time wisely, you can be present, and the payoff is fun. And if your life isn't fun, like, what are you doing? We all need purpose. Then I go into preacher mode. I mark upon the client. I have now learned to ask for permission. Thank you, Aja Price, for making me self-aware that I shouldn't just pull up a phone and video someone. I should ask for permission first. And I do, and I mean it with all my heart. I'm like, is it okay? Can I just take your video so I can share it with my team? Because like, I'm not going to remember. I have carpal tunnel, so I don't want to write, and it's just much faster. One guy was like, I was like, it's okay. I don't have to show your face. I'll video the products, and then you can just talk. I'm not going to do anything with it. It's internal for our clients and our team so we can effectively communicate. That's it. I was like, do you guys have TikTok? He was like, yeah, I have a TikTok. And I'm like, oh my God, we got to do a TikTok. Y'all, I did not do one TikTok at market, not one. I had to go in and focus. All my notifications turned off. The only people I was talking to was my clients on Marketplace. If you have traditional business cards, I would recommend is doing a QR code that is on your phone, that is marked in your favorites, that's at the top, that you can pull up very quickly. People can scan it, and then it like has all your information there. They can save it in their contacts. There's a lot of different companies that offer that these days. It's more sustainable, it's trackable, you can get the analytics. It's a little bit better than a business card in my opinion. The elevators do take forever. If you want to get some steps in and really work it out, you can take the steps. I would definitely either walk or like do Uber. And if you do Uber, when you leave, make sure you have power banks and cords. Photo, video, you need that. If you have time, because market does close at 6. And so some of the places, try to make a spa appointment in advance, or at least for your feet, reflexology, and you've got to wear good tennis shoes. I love Skechers. Like, I'm very, very, very specific because I've had foot surgery. I've had a lot of problems with my knees, my back from being a gymnast. I'm not sponsored by Skechers yet, but like these, like the memory, the ones that I walk in all the time. Recap questions, like you got to ask if they have a minimum. Do you have to purchase a whole pallet? What is the order deadline for the show sale? And what's the order deadline to place the order to get it in the time that you need it? What does shipping look like? Is it free? And then just have a script and like be prepared to introduce yourself as a buyer. And then if you're on the vendor side, like train your teams, like teach them how to address uncomfortable situations. And yes, you can give them a script and they can follow it. But if they don't understand how to read the person's body language or their communication style, you can completely lose customers and lose business. Help you think through these things that, God, I wish these types of videos existed when I was going through these things years ago. Thank you for watching or listening, and be sure to tune in next week to another episode of Business Unveiled.
That's it for this week's episode of Business Unveiled. Now that you have all the tools that you need to conquer the world and GSD, get shit done, would you share this with your friends and fellow business leaders? One thing that would really, really help us and help new listeners is for you to rate the show and leave a comment in Apple Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you tune in and listen to Business Unveiled. You can check out the show notes at angelaproffitt.com/podcast and link up with us on social media so you can share your biggest insights. And I want to know your aha moments. Until next week, remember, the profitable shifts and structures you're creating in your business help you be more present in your life. So get out there and GSD.